Welcome to LinguaWire English B1. Today, we have two stories. One about a family forced to dig up a grave in the West Bank, and another about Thailand's former Prime Minister leaving jail. Follow us to practice your English every day with the latest episode. For transcripts and quizzes, visit linguawire.com. I'm here with Sarah, LinguaWire's world news reporter. Sarah, what exactly happened with the grave in the West Bank?
Daniel, a man named Mohammed Assasa, had just buried his 80-year-old father in their village near Jenin. But soon after, some settlers came and started digging up the grave. It was a very upsetting moment for the family.
That sounds awful. What is new about this story today?
The new part is that the settlers came from a recently reopened settlement called Sa-Nur. The Israeli government allowed the settlement to open again, even though all settlements on Palestinian land are illegal under international law. This decision is very controversial.
Why did the settlers want to dig up the grave?
They said the grave was too close to their settlement. They told the family, "Either you dig up the body or we will." So the family had no choice but to dig up the grave themselves.
That must have been very hard for the family. Why does this matter for the bigger situation in the West Bank?
It shows the tension and fights over land in the area. The UN Human Rights Office called this event appalling and said it shows how Palestinians are being treated without respect. It could make the conflict worse.
What could happen next after this event?
There might be more protests or violence if settlers keep building on Palestinian land. The government's choice to allow Sa-Nur to reopen could increase tensions in the region.
Is there anything surprising or unusual about this story?
Yes, it is unusual that the family asked the nearby Israeli military base for permission before the funeral. Even with permission, the settlers still came and damaged the grave. That shows how difficult the situation is.
So the family tried to avoid problems but still faced this?
Exactly. They wanted peace, but the settlers acted anyway. This shows the strong conflicts in the area.
Thank you, Sarah. This story is very sad, but important to understand. Now I'm joined by Michael, LinguaWire's reporter for Asian politics. Michael, what is the latest news about Thailand's former Prime Minister, Thaksin Shinawatra?
Daniel Thaksin was released from jail on Monday after serving part of a one-year sentence for corruption and abuse of power. He is 76 years old and was welcomed by hundreds of supporters outside the prison in Bangkok.
What did Thaksin say after his release?
He said he was in good health and felt relieved to be free. He was also with his family, including his daughter Pitongtarn, who is a former prime minister too.
Why was Thaksin in jail?
He was sentenced for corruption and abuse of power during his time as prime minister from 2001 to 2006. These charges are part of a long political fight in Thailand between his supporters and opponents.
Why does this matter now? What could happen next?
Thaksin's party says he will stay in the background, but many people think he will still influence Thai politics. His return could change the political scene, especially with elections coming soon.
What makes Thaksin's story interesting or unusual?
He spent many years living outside the country and in jail, but still has strong support. One supporter even drove 700 kilometers to see him released. That shows how important he is to many people in Thailand.
So, even after all these years, his influence is still strong.
Yes, exactly. Thaksin's political time may not be over yet. His presence still affects Thailand's future.
What might happen if he becomes more active again?
It could cause more political fights or changes in the government. His return is a big event for Thailand's politics.
Thank you, Michael. This is a fascinating story about power and politics. Let's look back at some useful words from our first story about the grave in the West Bank. All three words are connected to land and conflict. First, the word settlement. A settlement is a small community or village built by people in an area. In the story, settlers built a settlement called Sa-Nur on Palestinian land. For example, new settlements are often built near cities. Second, grave. A grave is a place where a dead person is buried. In the story, settlers tried to dig up a grave. For example, we visited the grave of my grandfather last weekend. Third, permission. Permission means to get approval or allow something. Muhammad asked for permission from the military before the funeral. For example, you need permission to park here. Now for our second story, a useful phrase. Stay in the background. This means to not be very active or visible in public or work. People use it when someone wants to avoid attention but still be involved quietly. For example, she decided to stay in the background during the meeting, or he stayed in the background while others spoke. This phrase helps describe how Thaksin's party says he will act after leaving jail. Remember, using phrases like this can help you speak clearly about people's actions. Try to use stay in the background when you talk about someone who is quiet but still part of a group. Follow LinguaWire for the latest daily episode and build your daily language habit with us.